in Podcast Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that growler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
And we are live, episode 168, part 2 of the Better on Draft podcast. We had a great first part with Zane Lamprey on the line from California, talking about the Four Sheets show on Drink TV, which you can get over at drinktv.com. There's plenty of other shows on there, including something with Will Shatner. And a few others, but it's only $30 for the year. Not too bad for a streaming service. Plenty of alcohol-related stuff. But as always with Better on Draft, it's free. And bringing to you, as I'm bringing in the show and seeing everyone here, well, Matt's gone. Rob, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing my best to make sure that I'm not reckless tonight.
Ooh,
oh
boy!
It's Friday.
I'm just doing that and just trying to be me and just
listen.
Do like some people should do and just stay in their fucking lane.
That pun's just a tad dark, and I need you to bring it down a little bit.
Sure, I'll be sure to do that because at this point we might as well just say that all beers matter. So.
Well, great segue over to Nicholas. How you doing, Nick?
Why do I get that segue? I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. What are you drinking over there?
I had a whole bunch of stuff earlier, but I just opened up this Deschutes Black Boot 29th anniversary.
All right.
Fucking gotta be black.
29th birthday. Damn it. Because that's what it says, Rob.
Sorry, I'm feeling a little militant right now.
I know.
Rob, what are you drinking over there?
He's drinking the same thing.
Yeah, I got the Black Butte, and then I cracked open some the Old Fashioned from Siren Craft Brew. So
this is going to be almost like a repeat of the original ROAK show for sure, with all the beer that's on the table.
Without the Black Tuesday?
Without the Black Tuesday. Matt, what's going on?
Pass.
What are you drinking?
Like the network?
What is El Negrito? What is El Ligero?
El Ligero. Why don't we ask right next to you, who decided to just show up on a whim, Kyle from Griffin Claw. How you doing?
Good. I have no life, so I just showed up.
I mean, that's not surprising on multiple facets. I mean, you have a kid, so I just assume you might, watch him.
Might need a break.
I'm good.
As they say in the Mighty Ducks, chips fly together.
Caw? I don't know.
So what is El Ligero?
A Mexican-style lager with lime infused into it already.
All right, and for the real reason we're here, bringing on, it's probably the longest distance between episodes for the brewery, but obviously we don't have John Leone here. We actually have Aaron Lanctot. How you doing?
Hey, Ken.
So not of Blake's.
Not of Blake's.
Not of Mills.
Not of Mills.
Welcome back to the Brewers Guild.
Yes, thank God.
Well, no. Blake's is in the Brewers Guild. I ran into their brewer over in January.
Now we are.
Yes.
Matt Wiles.
Now we are. Yeah, Mr. Matt Wiles. We.
Hey.
No,
Welcome back.
Yeah. It's good to be back. It's good to be back on the beer side a little bit.
What are you drinking over there?
Same, that Black Butte.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Does have some heat.
Yeah, a little bit.
You weren't joking.
Yeah.
And a guy that we've been trying to probably get on for a while, and he's actually moved breweries from Original. Chuck, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what are you drinking over there?
I'm drinking a little Hopgazer.
Hopgazer. What is Hopgazer?
It's a New England IPA, and from
Can't
ROAK.
get enough of those New England IPAs.
Yeah, a little something different though. This one's-
Is that a new style? I don't know. I've never heard.
Let me tell you something about this one though. This one's not a juice bomb. All right, it's not a mimosa. It's it's got some hop quality to it. I like that Equinot hop on the finish, man. So.
So, Chuck, where were you before ROAK, or have you always been at ROAK?
I mean, I was at Frankenmuth Brewery. I mean, those are my roots, man.
Pretty sure he was there for like 40 years.
Yeah, 9
He
years.
looks 12 to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, keep drinking craft beer. Keep drinking
I mean,
craft
we
beer.
literally
Stay young.
picked him out of 5th grade this afternoon.
Oh man,
Like,
We picked him up for
who's got the van
kickball.
and Snickers bars?
Jesus.
this is like
Wow.
Jeez.
this is like 6
I
months.
was going to say, it's like 2 years, right?
Don't worry, this right here is
I was
like
gonna
5
say, yeah,
months
like
too,
Matt
so-
Matt
Shit,
Matt
you
can't
got that
grow a
baby
beard
face,
for shit
Yeah.
either. I was gonna say, Nick, I don't think I've ever remembered you this.
This is like 3 weeks.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I wore the flannel to go with it too.
You're like a mini lumberjack.
That's why. Well, Flannel Friday. That's why.
Is that such a thing?
Well, I started
I
it
didn't
at
know.
work. I'm the only one doing it.
So
But I've been doing it for about 2 months now. So.
He started No Shave November all the way in March.
I'm like, Wings ain't going to the playoffs. I mean, just shave that shit.
Damn right, they're not
I
going.
was saying the Pistons,
We
Mike.
need that.
Cold.
We need
Go
that
Pistons.
first
Cold.
pick. We need that first pick.
Larkin was hurt the other night, too.
That first
Should've
pick would be
traded him.
nice.
Yeah, Pistons are doing good though.
Yeah, Adam Silver's not going to allow that. We don't have a big enough
Zion's going
market.
to
Because
LA.
Adam Silver sucks. Anyway, all right. Enough of the
All right, so you guys are actually both fairly new to ROAK, correct?
Yeah, I joined in October last year, so just right before Fall Beer Fest. I think it was like maybe a day or two before, and which
Well,
was kind
Fall
of
Beer
fun.
Fest, you guys just before had some pretty big news coming in. I'm trying to think maybe a month or two prior because you guys had merged. What's the official term for what you guys did with Right Brain?
Well, the official term is it's unofficial, right? So we really can't comment on it because it's not, it's not official news. And what's been commented in the news right now by John is really, all that we can share. I mean, we're working. We obviously we have some things in the works right now that we're excited about, but. You know what? We brought Aaron Lanctot on board, and he's the VP. Maybe he can speak to it a little bit more.
Yeah, the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations and Sales, I think this might be your full title. I don't know. It looked really long on LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn does that. Makes everything look a little bit longer,
That's
but
what she
I
said.
don't know. My job has the word engineer in it, and if anyone knows what I do, it ain't an
it
engineer.
ain't an engineer. No, it's at the end of the day, we're all a team here. But as far as the Right Brain thing goes, we should expect to see that hopefully close here in the next 30, 60, 90 days. And
Did we say
beyond
that?
that,
30 to 60 to 90 days ago.
30. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, literally, we've been waiting. There's been some stuff. Obviously, the government shut down.
I was going
didn't
to
help.
say, yeah, that's probably delayed everything in regards to whatever legalities with the TTB.
No, not just us, but you ask anybody across the board, turning in label approval the last 6 months has been just ridiculous getting backed up. But, we're excited. They got a great team over at Right Brain, top to bottom. Obviously, Russell Springsteen. He's kind of an OG in the game. He's been around for a long time. And, their Southeast guy, Zach Kuhn, he's
Old friend of mine.
yeah, friend of the show, Kuhn. And then actually,
We saw him this morning.
Yeah, we saw him this morning.
Abraham.
Scoreboard.
Yeah, that was a great morning.
First of all, we were surprised by Kyle, and
I'm everywhere. Don't worry about it.
and then
Again, I don't have a life. I just show up in places and like, hey,
no,
what's
it
up?
was a pleasant surprise, and so we had to figure, let's keep it rolling.
I heard you were at the garage. Were you at Garage today?
The garage?
Yeah, in Dearborn?
Dearborn.
Oh, Ford's Garage?
Did you make
no.
it that far?
No, I was at Nick's scoreboard for like.
You were sitting next to the
weeks
Brew
long.
Locker today. I got a text about that.
Yeah,
She was at Scoreboard.
Yeah,
she was at-
She
yeah,
was at
she was there
Scoreboard
today.
with us. Yeah, she went to Ford's Garage after, I think, for Atwater's
Got
thing,
it.
like a Wango.
I got a random alert, a craft beer alert.
Yeah, I met her for the first time this morning. She's cool.
Second
She's
time.
awesome.
Did you guys meet at the beer fest?
No.
I
Oh,
did.
okay. Yeah.
Oh, you did.
I did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I got to talking to her for a minute. I mean,
So I want some ROAK beer.
What, you don't want the NEPA?
No,
You hate
no,
IPAs?
definitely not the New England IPA.
Chestnut head maple.
how about
porter?
you want a brand new coffee sour?
Bourbon, that's a bourbon
No,
barrel.
it's a sour.
all right,
This
all right.
is fine.
He said coffee stout.
Coffee
No,
stout?
I said coffee sour.
And,
Coffee
wait.
sour.
And actually, I was going to get into that because when I was at Beer Fest, I decided I was going to try and do things a little bit differently because normally I just go and just, get my stouts. I get this, I get that. I basically go to my favorites, which is pretty ridiculous because you're at a Beer Fest. You're supposed to be trying new things and trying things that are outside the wheelhouse. So I decided to go completely the hell out the wheelhouse and just say, okay, I'm going to get my favorites real quick out of the way, and then I'm going to get into the style that I don't like, with that being sour beers.
Yeah.
So I just started going from sour to sour, and we talked about it last week about ArcLight and Elk and Ellison, and one of the first ones I had, I think it was actually after I left Brewery Vivant, was going over to ROAK and seeing that they had this one, which is, I believe it's called We Who See.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We Who See. And very pleasantly surprised with, the kind of the balance of just the sour and then that coffee just really kicking in and just not letting the sour and the bitterness just completely take over. Just kind of just be there and, just, I don't know, be a lemon head on the wall, so to speak, and just kind of let the coffee just be nice and just refreshing in there. So I was definitely really enjoying this when I was at the Beer Fest.
Before we continue, I do want to make a shout out while it's right in front of me, and I just want to make sure the folks over at Brewery 424 gave us a 6-pack to try, and I'm trying, and I'll pass this around. Breakfast in Traverse City. Amazing Imperial, like a cherry coffee stout using Traverse City cherries. Really, really good beer. I drank most of it, but you guys can have a little sips if you
It's the
if you want,
the Project
for sure.
Soren 3.0 is what we had during the Zane Lamp.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, I
it's
could
the
really taste
blueberry
the polar.
pomegranate and green tea blonde.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what that is.
I don't know if I've ever had a better like a blonde. I chugged it, and I'm not afraid to admit that I would have mainlined it if I could have.
That's
As
the
long
beer
as
I
we
know.
don't pull what we did on Black Friday with Kyle here. I
Well,
think
he is a bad
fine.
influence.
He is, but he's not bringing us that high gravity beers. I don't think.
I do have some in
again.
my trunk if you'd like.
No, that's quite all right. I'd like to be conscious and drive.
More trunk age beer.
Overrated.
From Kevin DeVries in the chat. Happy Friday, gents.
Kevin.
Oh,
shout
Kev,
out.
what up?
Go home, Kevin.
What up, Kev?
Daddy, Kev Daddy. Hey,
And,
give me. Hey, I
uh,
want some of those. What does he do? Pecans.
He does everything.
Some
Yeah.
founders barrel aged pecan mash.
I don't know.
And,
Him and his
awesome.
his
He's always got
cooking.
a few tricks up his sleeve.
He always does. He loves cooking.
I mean,
We also
he
have,
looks like
uh,
he's auditioning for Chopped.
We also have in the chat Chris Hikuri, I believe. Some of my-
Hakery.
Hakery. There
Chris-
we go.
Chris Hickory.
Some of my favorite folks. Guys, you could join
He's
us
the OG.
each and every week. Facebook.com/BetterOnDraft. We are always live in the chat. You can always bring up conversations, talk about what's going on within the actual industry itself. So, Aaron, why don't you tell us more about your new role at ROAK? Like, what is it that you're doing? What would you say you do there?
So
What are you
So
doing?
what do you think you do here? Right now, my role here isn't really different than my role in my previous role with Blake's Hard Cider. It's, I guess, maybe a little bit more complex with the merger, but I'll just be, kind of overseeing sales and distribution for us. And, obviously, Chuck and I go way back when he built Frankenmuth. And obviously, I was coming up the ranks with Rochester Mills. I'd call this guy for questions or, recommendations on stuff. So, we're going to be kind of tag teaming this thing, obviously, with building the team with Mr. Zach Kuhn coming on and Josh Rollo joining the team up in Traverse City as well. And, I heard that.
Sorry, I love me some Rolo. So he's good.
Josh Rollo's a good guy. Yeah, I love that guy. But this merger is going to be, it's going to be pretty big, and I don't think it's last. I think we got some more stuff down the pipe later, and
Porquet?
I mean, Porquet.
French
I mean,
for
the
what?
answer to Porquet
French
is
for
Porquet.
Yeah,
French for what?
Would you like to drop a dime here? I mean, we only have.
no, I'm just saying it's like look at the CANAarchy model. They've kind of started
Yeah.
that.
And who's in the CANAarchy model?
You know who's in a CANAarchy.
Yeah.
We're an audio medium, okay? I'm trying to.
We're an
educate.
audio media.
Then you can educate for yourself. Educate for the people.
That's the
So who's your favorite?
that's the Cigar City people,
Mm-hmm.
the Oscar Blues people. The there's somebody else from Michigan here.
Aaron.
Aaron, oh yeah, those
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
That's
there's a
about
couple
it.
more, too.
You know what I missed is
They have 7. They have the 7 total.
okay. I did not know that.
Yep, they got Deep Ellum.
What'd you call me?
Wasatch. And
Wessel,
Sasquatch?
sausage and Wessels or something. Wessels.
Sausage?
Squatters,
Squatters.
and
Smith and Wessel?
three Weavers.
I mean,
Oh,
it
I didn't
does
know-
seem
I
like
didn't know
it's the model now. Is that you've got CANAarchy, you've got the Craft Brew Alliance, and
guys gonna have a
you've
clever
got
name?
these people who are like joining forces. They're
never
making
know.
they're making
It's
their
always
own
on the table.
They're making their own craft beer justice leagues.
Are you going to be the DC or the Marvel universe?
Saga
God,
Talk and
definitely
Gonzo
Marvel.
just did it too.
Yeah, give a shout out, Captain
Well,
Marvel.
I think
yeah.
that was a pure buyout, wasn't it?
It was
in regards
it was
to-
considered a merger. Even though, yeah,
maybe
it's a-
legalities.
if you wanna, I mean, you can call it
I
whatever
mean,
you want. but yeah.
I won't say the things that I know from it, but
Valid,
it's
valid.
like the things that I know make me say that it's a buyout.
It was written in
maybe
as a merger.
maybe as legalese it's a merger.
Yeah.
Probably for specific reasons in regards to distro, because I don't know if Gonzo distros
strictly through Imperial.
yeah. But Saugatuck obviously has a way bigger footprint in regards to
a lot of Miller Network and some other random stuff in there too. So.
Yeah. So you're handling that. Is that why they brought you in, or did it just kind of happenstance? You showed up, applied, and they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way,
No,
this is happening."
No. Long story short, Chucky got hired on to kind of run Southeast Michigan, and in the process, obviously you've met John Leone, our CEO.
Yes.
In the
Oh,
process,
yeah.
Seen him sober a few times.
a few times.
I won't tell you how many times I've seen him, but sober.
Single digits?
Seen him or seen him sober?
Both.
No.
Both, yeah.
In the process, he basically, went to Chuck and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a VP, and do you know anybody?" They had been interviewing for a couple people over the last couple months, and just I don't know. You can tell the story better than me, I guess, because you're the
No,
you're the one
that
who
was
did
good.
it.
That was good.
Well, Chuck, why don't you tell the story?
Yeah, no, I had been on board. I had joined, at the end of October, and the big thing when I came on board with ROAK, I had looked and saw their infrastructure, and I'm like, man, this is fantastic. You guys got room for 20,000 barrels. You're brewing about 3,000 barrels. Like, I've never been in a situation where I can look up and say, okay, sky's the limit. 20. That's an absurd amount. In craft beer, you get to 10, 12, 13,000 barrels. Now you're starting to compete. Like, you're starting to compete in distribution. Kyle, those guys, they're working hard. He's been building something over there, under the radar.
Still salty, you never call him, by the way.
Perhaps, but not for
I
us.
think it
We
worked
see
out
it
for
every
you,
day.
fine.
We see his guys out there every day working hard, and you got to build a team. So when I came on board with ROAK, the conversation I had with John was, hey, do you want to build a team, and you got a fantastic infrastructure, and that's what he wanted to do. They had just gone through a rebrand, and the packaging was pretty cool. Definitely
the new packaging.
Yeah, the new packaging was pretty cool. We're getting
I'm
great
gonna be
feedback.
honest. I like it. It just seems like a little too much. It seems like visual overload.
Does it feel like you're
So you
trying
like
to
it,
solve?
but you don't like it.
Sometimes I mean, I like it.
I
but
think it's an eye catcher, but I don't think I would be drawn to it, if that makes sense.
it almost reminds me of back in my time in the 90s.
Like the 1890s?
Yeah, exactly. When they had those 3D pictures that you had to focus
Magic
on.
Eye.
Yeah,
Magic
and
Eye,
and you
yeah.
and like you would actually get the picture within the picture. Sometimes when I look at that's what it makes me think of. But I mean,
see
it's
that.
So are you saying it's a schooner and not a sailboat?
The sailboat is a scooter, you silly bastard.
Oh my gosh, Mallrats callback. That's the 90s too. Yeah.
Twice.
That's twice today.
So here's what I will say
Once off
to
the air,
that,
once on the air.
because you are right. The only difference is if we were able to, on some of our packages, the image itself and the background coloring are a little bit close, which obviously,
yeah.
I
mean, I almost want to just like take a pencil and just like solve the maze.
You said both things I wanted to say, which screw you. But
Funny.
I mean, besides what Rob said, I feel like the can of We Who See should be like an orange or like a raspberry sherbet, or not
As opposed to a coffee sour.
I feel like that the can should be a little bit darker, just because it feels like I'm going to drink something light and fruity,
Sure.
not sour and coffee. I mean, it doesn't suck by any means. It's just it throws me for a loop. Like
I'll tell you what, that is the greatest compliment we can ever get. It doesn't suck by any means.
No, I
like to
appreciate
blow
I
your face
appreciate
out with
that.
being
That's our
green.
slogan,
Hops
actually.
makes sense.
Yeah.
The French toast. I mean, you get the cinnamon, the caramel, the molasses, the chocolate. You just and I mean, even the chestnut. I mean, green and gold. I mean, those are Packer colors, unfortunately, but they go together.
My
Shoot it.
goodness.
Celtics.
For the record, Chuck and I have been here for 4 months. He's been here 4 months. I've been here a month and a half.
I want to say this though. We Who See, it's an intriguing beer, and it's
totally
not. It's definitely outside of the boundaries. Even when you talk about sour
Is that a blend
combinations.
by chance?
No, it's not
So
a
I
blend.
think
No.
both the coffee and the sour would be good by themselves.
No.
Right. So the
don't
base
think
of the
so?
beer, is actually a Belgian brown, and then what we do,
Really?
we use Desert Oasis coffee. It's fresh, roasted. We get it coarse ground, and we get it in the tanks, man, and we let it soak so it can just soak up the aromas. You want that aroma up front, but you don't want the coffee grinds on the finish. So
Right.
Then where does the sour come from? Is that just
that's
the yeast?
lactobacillus. You're using yogurt, so a whole 5 pounds of yogurt, man, and you just drop it in, in that 30 barrel vessel, and you just you let it turn. So you give it 12 to 24 hours, and it's going to turn. And then what we do is we boil it out. So ours is very consistent. It's a kettle sour, but it's not going to blow up in the can or anything like that because it's fermented properly, just like a beer. It's not spontaneously fermented with the wild yeast strains.
It's just funny because everyone says they have the freshest ground coffee. I'd love to hear somebody say, "Yeah, we go get that Kirkland stuff and we just drop it in, whatever we can find from the Folgers aisle."
Hilarious.
Hey, don't sleep on Kirkland's signature, man.
No, so what I was going to say about this package, though, is every coffee beer out there, brown.
Yeah,
Brown.
but I think that
Brown.
takes a message.
Porters
outside,
and stouts.
right?
But this
too.
particular beer itself is outside of the box. It's outside the boundaries, and it's a weird sour combination. So I'm not a part of the design side, and for the first time in 9 years, I'm not a part of that side of the business, and I like it because
You prefer that?
You know what? I do prefer it. I do prefer it when when I don't own it. I do prefer it.
I mean, it's compared to what the conversation was with the previous design style. That
Yeah.
I think that this is.
We should show 'em a
leaps
before and after.
Leaps and bounds. This is a step up.
night
I said,
and day.
night and day. I mean, I like the design. Sometimes it feels like with every can and every packaging that everything does look like it's a maze in one of those highlights books when I'm sitting at the pediatrics office.
Be nice.
Hey, I have kids. Fuck you.
I appreciate that feedback, but I'm thinking we should incorporate a maze or something. Maybe, you know what I'm saying?
I definitely think there
I'd
should
buy
be.
it for
I mean,
there
that-
should be a start and finish if they're going to be that confusing.
Not
That'd
a
be
bad idea.
That'd be a sobriety test right
Just
there.
saying.
If you can't solve this, you don't drive. Drink
No,
responsibly.
if you can solve this, you shouldn't drive because your eyes about
If you solve this, drink one more.
right.
Yeah, like if you think someone's had too much at the bar, give them a can. Say, can you figure this out? If they say yes, just like you're cut
Yeah,
off.
yeah, no, you're
done.
good.
You're done. You're done.
No, the guy that designed this, it's was Ebbing.
Yeah, Ebbing Group.
Ebbing Group.
Parkinson's,
And
or-
listen, this guy apparently he's from a family of like geniuses, mathematical geniuses though. His family, like his brothers, sisters, mom, dad, mathematical geniuses. But this guy is an artistic genius, and that's why he draws in patterns, things like that. But we're getting great feedback.
Yeah.
And you know what? Give
mean,
the
it
people
stands
what
out.
they want.
It stands
Right.
out. I mean, it's better than the clip art we used to have.
You said it.
He will
I used to
stand
sell
by.
against it. I used to sell
He
against
will-
it, so that was my
Yeah.
that was my slogan. Like, you want clip art on the top shelf or something that's going to sell? Am I wrong?
There.
You
No
did the same thing
No
when you were
comment. No comment. I'm just gonna stay off that topic.
So when I came on board, I had brand new packaging. They were coming out with these some barrel aged beers. I hadn't had the barrel aged French toast, or I brought you guys some barrel aged chestnut head.
Yeah,
some
that's
maple-
what I'm drinking
maple
right
porter.
now, and this is drinking really, really good.
Yeah, it's a secondary use barrel.
I don't want to know what the ABV is for this.
Yeah, it's gonna get the blood flowing for
11.5%.
sure.
I'll take some of that over here.
Gotta get the blood.
Or if you want to
flowing for
pass
sure.
this to Mr. Robert down there.
Yeah, this is our brewer's favorite beer to make. So he sourced the chestnuts and the maple syrup local. And Brandon McLaren, he's our brewmaster. He learned his craft brewing up at Founders and
So
New Holland.
What's the reason with going like some cans, some
I
bottles?
was just going to ask that. Yeah, what's the logic between the cans and the bottles?
We have a bottler.
I was gonna say if it was up to me, we'd be in all cans, but this is the way it was set up. We don't really know the logic
I got to be
behind it,
honest with you.
but-
I like having package diversity, and I'll tell you why. Because there's so many accounts that you go into all over the place. Kyle, you could speak to this. You could chime in. How many times you go into a place and they're like, oh, man, I don't take a 12 ounce. I want a 16. I don't take a 16. I want a
Well, you have a 16 though, right?
Well,
Four?
we tried a 6-pack bottle of Norm's for like 6 months.
Thanks, Gary.
That worked. No, it didn't. But that's just our brand. We like there's a valid like market for it, so we tried to get it. We just couldn't capitalize on it. And I think we had already solidified the fact that we were a can brewery, and to like backstop and to go into bottles sounded like a great idea, just not the proper way. If you're a bottle brewery and go into cans, that's a lot easier as opposed to like trying to backstep into bottles. Maybe one day, I don't know, but not right now.
Thanks, Gary. Like I remember selling beer, and people would always say, it tastes like tin when you're drinking beer. Well, I just say, take your tongue off the damn can and drink it like an adult, like it's not a sippy cup.
Right. Well, it should be poured into a cup for one, but also, can technology has the liners in them now, so you don't have that metallic interaction like they used to in the 50s and 60s and 70s when everything tastes like a Pilsner and when that was really dominating the marketplace. Now, it's an assault of the senses with the packaging, and you're seeing flavor profiles that are jumping off the wall. So why not have it in a bottle? Why not have it in a can? I think it's nice as long as the beer's staying fresh. That's what's most important. I think, long term, the strategy would be to go to cans. But these guys started with bottles. And,
But stubby bottles, too, right? 11.2 bottles? Not these long necks.
What's that? Yeah,
They start with
stubbies.
long
Yeah,
necks,
and
they
then they
start
got a
with
new
11.2s.
bottling line, though.
Yeah.
They got a new bottling line. But like I said, I like having options because, you go on the golf course, we don't take a bottle. You go in the stadium, we want a 16-ounce can. You go into, and being a small guy, it's David versus Goliath. The more you can maneuver, the more you can kind of bob and weave.
Flexible, yep.
You got an opportunity to, possibly fit into somebody's lineup.
So speaking of David versus Goliath, how many barrels did you guys do last year, roughly?
3,400, I think. 3,500.
What's your plan for 2019?
What do we want to get to?
Yeah, do you guys have a projection? You guys have done all this growth, bought into developing your team. Like, what's the plan? Are you doing 5, 10?
How much do you
8,000?
need so you're not
Wait,
looking
hold
for a
on,
job in
5,
2020?
10, 8,000.
Yeah, like
5, 10, 8,000.
5,000,
So
10,000?
50% growth in a market that's like 100% saturated.
well, every market's saturated with beer.
In this, if you get 20% growth, that is a phenomenal year in any. If you're any size brewery right now, Kyle, would you say 20% growth that's
2018 was a great year for Griffin Club.
Yeah, but I guess I guess we're talking different. Like, how many barrels what was
In other words,
the
he's
barrels of
pleading
Griffin
the
Claw
fifth.
last year?
A little under 15, so like
So, I mean,
14.8 or
Their
something.
20% brings them to 18,000. Your 20% brings you not even to 4 yet.
Yeah, that's
Right
true.
to 4 yet.
Yeah.
So, are you guys just shooting for 20%? Like, it just seems like you guys have invested so much in infrastructure, both people and like.
I mean, the
brands.
infrastructure is already there. It's the last 3 months that they started, really investing in the team. Well, let me take that back. They've actually hired really good people over the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, it
Besides
did not
you,
start with
right?
us. That's for sure.
No, it
Jason
ended
Schreider.
before you guys.
Jason Schreider, like we're the bottom. I'm the bottom of the
he's
totem pole for
amazing.
sure. Jason Schreider, who's we picked up I think a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
He's
That guy's
badass.
an OG.
He's a badass dude.
So I mean, John basically is putting this team, the team that you guys have in place now, over the course of time to get to what he believes is going to be the all-star team to take you guys to that
Oh yeah, that's
that next level.
Yeah.
Maybe that 20% growth that you talked about, or even beyond that.
20, 30, 40. I mean,
Whatever that number.
Whatever
is.
the number is.
Yeah.
But don't you? I guess my thought is you guys are merging. Do you know what right brain is? Do we just drop it? Like, don't you guys think?
according to numbers last year, they did what? 45.
Yeah, like 43 or 44 or something.
So, like-
I have it on my phone.
And if the footprint's growing, isn't there a plan to be a bigger player in the game?
I mean,
in
of
general?
course. Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, and that's going to take time. I mean, realistically, this deal, even if it gets closed tomorrow, it's not done until late May. So it takes 90 days at the minimum to close a
believe in you.
merger like that. So it's of course our numbers are going to grow overnight substantially, but obviously there's going to be a lot of kinks to work out with the two coming together.
I will say this, maybe the owners don't want to hear something like this, but
That's
I'm
why
not
we
as
drunk a
I'm
little
not as focused on numbers as the higher ups are. I just sell as much beer as I can. But in order to do that, people got to trust you. You have to be able to build relationships with accounts. You got to have fresh beer. You got to be working with your wholesalers and figuring out where you have opportunities to grow and figuring out where you're kind of hitting a wall. And when you're building a team, as we mentioned, we're just two of the guys that they brought on. We have a great, on the operations side, Gianni Rodopoulos is our director of operations, and I mean, he's the heartbeat. We got Brandon McLaren, who's up there brewing every day. We're building a team, but it takes time. Mm-hmm. And to come out and say, we want to grow 20, 30%, I mean, it's easy to throw around numbers in a room, and it's only relative to your size of your brewery. When, like I said at the beginning, if you get to 10, 12, 13, 15,000 barrels, now you're starting to compete. Our goal is to get to competitive level, to get to that 13,000, 14,000. How long do you think that
would take?
If you build a team, you build a team quickly.
18 months.
18 months.
It took me a year and a half to get my team.
So you guys are 6 months into building, right? So maybe early 2020 we can start pushing 10, 15,000 barrels?
No. I mean, well, we'll be over 10,000 with the merger for sure.
That's kind of like cheating, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was hired in. I mean, that's part of the process, right? Like
that's why it's relative too, because we could say, we're going to grow, 1,000%, but we bought a brewery.
Yeah, but it's all fucking relative.
How does it count?
That's business, though. I mean,
it is.
Yeah. Obviously, a business is going to see an opportunity to grow, and you think it's worth the buy. Mm-hmm. Any good business would jump on something like that.
Go back to his comment earlier about CANAarchy.
I'm sorry about
that.
But
do you ever go into
there's a reason that they've been able to grow so much over the last 4 years.
That's how.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, regardless of, we can honestly go hours and hours talking about this.
I could talk about the business of beer for a day.
Well, we know you.
We could do a radiothon.
I mean,
call in, donate.
All right, Dick Burton. I don't need that shit.
Bill Bonds.
Why don't you donate to our Patreon?
Yeah.
That's a joke, by the way. We'll never have a Patreon.
We do not have a Patreon.
No, not at all. So let's get a little bit more personal. Chuck, what is your go-to beer style? Like, not beer style. I don't need you to break it down like even further. Just the style. Do you go for your lagers, your browns, your alts, your stouts, porters,
IPAs?
I feel like you try to be subliminal with the olds.
I don't know what you're talking about.
ESBs.
I had a great ESB today at Brewery 424. It was so good.
Where is Brewery 424?
Holland, Michigan.
God, that's fun.
You were in Holland today?
Yeah, I woke up at 6:30 and drove out to Saugatuck and then drove back.
Oh,
how long were you there?
2 hours.
Jeez.
I was in Saugatuck for
and
two.
You could have invoiced
Holland
that night.
for one.
You could have invoiced the hotel.
I could have. I was actually in Ann Arbor yesterday until 9 p.m. and I should have just drove out, but I didn't have clothes, nor did I feed my cat. Therefore, I went home.
You could have gone to Target, which I've done there in that area before, and sent somebody to feed your cat.
That's true, but anyways, so
it's the opposite of a scholar and a job.
We've postponed you long enough. Let you think about it. Go-to style.
No, I mean, for me, I don't have one throughout the year. There's not one that's sitting in my fridge that's like, that's got to be it.
Okay. Then we'll put it this way. If you've got one beer in your fridge.
For the rest of my life?
No. So you're watching Game of Thrones. It's the season finale. And you've saved this beer for this last movie, or this last episode.
And Aaron
drinks it. And what's the beer that you're going to stab him over, watch the show, then call the cops to let them know that somebody's
too soon about the stabbing over here.
Whatever. What's that beer that you'd stab
punch him in the face with his face?
The last Hef on Earth? The last bottle ever of Hef?
No. Be my Dunkel, man. It'd be my Brown Hound Dunkel, bro. Don't touch my Dunkel, bro.
I like that beer. I don't know if he's joking or not, but I love that beer from Frankenmuth.
I'm not joking. That's my favorite beer. I guess that is. You pried it out of me. It is what it is. If I gotta stab you, Game of Thrones style, because you stole my last beer during the last final episode.
As opposed to the first final episode.
Yeah. The first final episode, I could let it go.
The last final episode ain't gonna
I'm just
happen.
kidding. I would never do that. Tots is-
What about
Tots
you,
is one of my
Aaron? I
great
mean,
friends.
it's been
What,
over
Island?
about a year and a half since you've been on the show.
I don't know. What was my answer last time?
Probably
I
Busch
don't
Light.
remember. We probably didn't ask these
We were
questions
probably
we
drunk at that time.
we were.
Yeah, that's true.
It was episode 100, and
Well,
trying
we
to
don't-
talk over pipe and Brock is a little.
Impossible.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the show
Never
about
gonna happen.
Shout out to
Aaron
Brock.
was the lightest talker of that episode.
Which is hard to believe.
Yes.
You were a rook?
He wasn't a rook. He just
I was damn. I mean,
in a world of type A+ personalities, he was a C- in
You're definitely
comparison.
a
No. I just meant like
Yeah.
newbie. Like it was his
No,
first
that
time.
was his
wasn't
second
his
time.
first
That was his second time.
All right.
yeah. There's a little.
He always comes. He always.
I always come through. I always come through. Honestly, I'd probably take Spotted Cow.
Little New Glarus.
It's my go-to. If I have it in the fridge and you take my last one.
Ellis is
Spotted
dead.
I'm gonna
Cow.
kick your ass.
Ellis
thing
is
is,
dead.
he-
You got something thrown on this one?
I think he just reminded me that I have a
By the
case
way,
sitting
so
in the
you were
basement.
on episode 47 and episode 100, Aaron. 47, which was August 26, 2016,
Wow.
September 16th, 2017, and now today.
3 times.
Oh, I missed.
Jeez.
I missed all of 2018.
You did.
Yeah.
I was on the road a lot.
Yeah,
You-
you were
you-
like
for the record,
Minnesota.
I was, gonna
I was
say,
everywhere
your
last year.
Your
Yeah.
Snapchats usually involved you flying somewhere and then flying back, and I'm like, do you even?
Great snaps.
Great snaps.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just him at an airport and then him leaving the airport.
This one does
You
not
got a
have
lot
a
of
Chick-fil-A.
frequent flyer miles, though.
I did. I actually went to Europe.
On your
my
frequent flyer
entire
miles,
my
yeah.
entire trip, I was able to book every hotel night free. Between me and my buddy, we were able to literally book every hotel night free. It's awesome.
How the hell did you pull that off?
Goals.
He's a diamond member.
Just the-
I am a Hilton Diamond member,
Wow.
which is awesome to say. But
That's hot.
all the perks,
I
that parking spot up
a lot of
front,
lonely nights.
a lot of lonely nights.
Chris on Facebook is
All
saying that Aaron
alone.
was in Michigan for about 28 minutes in total.
That's true.
That's how often you were flying.
Yes, that's literally.
Wow.
Yep.
28 valuable minutes, Chris.
Yeah.
Bitch.
What's interesting, and I kind of want to bring up this conversation, is that obviously we invited ROAK into for this episode to do the interview. Obviously, we wanted to get Chuck on for a long time, as well as Aaron being new into ROAK and trying to figure out the updates of ROAK. But with Kyle joining you guys, it kind of shows the camaraderie in regards to salespeople from different breweries and how nice they are to each other. And to be honest, as much as you guys you're being on camera, and it wasn't on camera for that fake thumbs up photo for sure, which is kind of disappointing. In regards to that, like we see this a lot, especially at beer festivals, because that first hour, I think a lot of salespeople are going to catch up with a lot of people, saying hi to a lot of people. This camaraderie is something that is just really, really interesting in a world where you guys are competition. You guys are fighting for shelf space. You guys are fighting for money. You guys are fighting for getting
Foot traffic.
Tap handles,
getting everything. How do you guys manage that competition and camaraderie in one nice? Because it seems more friendly than anything. I mean, obviously we had Kevin DeVries chatting in our chat earlier in regards to from founders. Like, how do you guys manage that?
Well, I wrote this book called Somehow I Manage, and
Did you really?
no, that's a Michael Scott reference.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you talking? What? Okay.
Honestly, Kyle, why don't you go first?
No, it's just this industry is the best industry you could possibly do, and yeah, we're all fighting, but we're all so small that we're all fighting the same fight. We're all struggling the same struggle, and at the end of the day, a handle here, a handle there isn't going to make or break us as a brewery. But what is going to make us and break us is the relationships and the foundations that we create with everyone else. And we can create a lot more if we have a cohesive goal, and we can create and basically F up a lot more when we like go in as a cohesive group. So a lot of us hang out, a lot of us chill, because sometimes, and most of the time, we actually see each other more than our own families. So we're seeing each other every weekend. We're seeing each other at festivals. We're walking into accounts at the same time, and we become family. So like we all, text and talk and call each other on a frequent basis. And this is the third time I've hung out with Aaron this week because
Too many times.
I'm just really glad you're back in Michigan now. Like, those 28 minutes last year really pissed me off. So I'm glad you're home more. But no, we're just it's family. It legitimately is family. Yeah, we're competitors, but it is what it is because that slice of the pie, beer consumption as a whole isn't changing. Like beer consumption as a whole has like basically stayed the same in the last 3 years. So a handle here, a handle there is not going to make or break us. But the friendships that we get often aid us more than anything. And as we're going on, we're getting like these, like you did. I know it's not the same, but you did a ROAK Right Brain event today. Yep. At Three Nicks. So like we like those breweries versus frostbite events, those events where the one brewery attraction isn't bringing the same type of people anymore. 7 brewery attractions, yeah, that's doing it. Mm-hmm. That's getting it done. And half the time it's friendships that are getting that done. Mm-hmm. So it's a family. It literally is. It's so weird to say, yeah, I strive for shelf space against you guys, but I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, you're closer to me than half the people in my own brewery.
And one of the things that somebody mentioned in the chat, and obviously we have Ashley Price from Holiday Market chatting in the chat, and he mentions a valid point, as we've talked about in regards to Aaron Blake's, Rochester Mills, Chuck, Frankenmuth. Kyle, were you any
distribution? I was a distribution whore for like 10 years.
So in regards to that, he says, and I asked him to explain it a little bit, and he says you're more job promiscuous, and that you guys your jobs kind of change, you guys change, you rotate, you go through breweries, and you're not necessarily in the same brewery for a long period of time. Not everyone has a long standing time. Like Chuck, you were at 9 years at Frankenmuth. Yeah. Not a lot of people have that type of time at one specific brewery. So maybe what do you think that lends to your guys' friendship, that you might be changing jobs a little bit more? Because, I mean, you've come from, when were you at Rochester Mills?
I started there when I was 15.
Okay, when were you last there?
Legally.
Legally.
You can work in your
2015.
15. So 4 years ago, you were at Rochester Mills, and you've been to Blake's and now ROAK, and you're still building. You're seeing the same people everywhere you go. You still see the same people, and it's. Do you see that? Do you see what Ashley sees? Do you see something different? I mean, I see what Kyle says, and a quick shout out to Three Nicks Scoreboard over in Allen Park. Ryan tricks magic down there. Just be surprised when you go there at lunch.
Yeah, he is though.
It's an interesting thought, because I think I'm not going to say people are job. What do you use? Promiscuous.
I say incestual.
It's a lot truer than it is promiscuous.
Probably Game of Thrones.
That's a Game of Thrones.
Does anyone want this breakfast in Traverse City? Because
let's hit it.
It was like craft brew gypsies.
So I'll say this: if you're happy, you're being compensated well, and you're feeling valued, those are the 3 things that typically you're not leaving a job. Am I right, boys? Like across the table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those 3 things, if you have them, or at least majority of those 3, you feel that you're good. If 1 or 2 of those fall out of whack, odds are you're going to move. And that goes not only in this business, but any business. And as you start, I mean, distributor guys jump around, as Kyle said. I mean, you go to any business, I think the beer business is just a small microcosm of every industry. No matter what you do, I mean, people move around. Yeah. And I think that at the end of the day, the cream always rises. I mean, you know who some players are, and you see it from either brewery growth or personal. And it's
Casey Baxter. When I came into this business, Casey Baxter was at Arcadia.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Woodchuck. Mm-hmm. And then when he's
at Founders, right?
When he landed with Founders, he knew he had a home, and he's done some great stuff with them.
Yep.
When you know though, like seriously, when you find it, because we're all trying to find like the best thing possible. I mean, that's human nature, right?
The right fit.
And so, but in this industry, it seems like it's the most glorious job in the world. It seems like cool. You get to drink for a living. You're you're at bars and restaurants all day, but then you realize that it's 60 to 70 hours a
the
week.
back end sucks.
You're not home a lot. You're actively pushing stuff that people don't want to talk about. You're in not the most glorious accounts 24 hours a day. At the end of like 6 months, you start to realize, oh shit, what did I get myself into? And then, oh yeah, you're not making mega bucks because this industry isn't made to like be a millionaire. You're not going to make 6 figures. This isn't something that like magically is going to pay your mortgage. This isn't that. This is because you love the game. You love what you're doing. And so you start weeding those people out, and those people weed themselves out. But in the same sense, if you're really good at what you do, other breweries are going to find you. Other breweries are going to offer you more money because that's the name of the game in the same sense. So like I'm nervous every day that the 3 reps that I have on the street, because they are badass people. They are really good at what they do, that someone's going to come find them. And don't f- with me other breweries. I'll pay them more. Don't tell my reps though. That don't Daniel, Mike, and Haley, you're not getting a raise. Shut up.
So, like, and kind of like to wrap this all up, like the reason why it's a family and all these things is everyone's content where they are. Their bills are paid. Their lives are happy. And if Aaron steals a handle from Kyle, odds are they both have a relationship with the bar buyer where they're going to swap that handle back to Kyle as soon as it flips. And
It's the name of the game.
They're both going to have a shot at the same thing. And they're fighting over 4 out of the 12 handles because the rest of them are bought by Bud and Coors and Miller. So as long as they're sharing at the teat, if you will, and they're both helping each other get in the door, and as they move from brewery to brewery, they're getting their foot back in. That's what matters.
I was going to say, I mean, it's not really fighting. I mean, it almost seems like a fucking timeshare.
It really is.
That's what it is.
Valid.
Is that it's like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, we got this tap. All right, Rogue's going to come in here. I was like, all right, you just do your business. You
Beer's
get done.
bought by the barrel. So as
Right.
soon as his barrel's gone, they're going to say, what's the next barrel?
Right.
And as long as Kyle shows up or whoever the next guy is shows up as the barrel's ending and saying, I've got this fits your profile, this is what you're looking for, and this fits your gap, they'll be like, cool, that sounds like a fun time, let's run it. And then the next brewery that comes in, it's the same game over and over again.
Yeah.
And those guys all, fuck around with one another and throw axes and drink beer. And,
I mean, it's basically. I mean, this is no contact football. I mean, everybody is just having fun and enjoying the game, enjoying the beer, and enjoying not only their own beer but enjoying each other's beers, and just having a good old time with it. And I mean, that's what I absolutely love about this business.
There's a certain level of respect and appreciation that we have in the marketplace, but there is a fierce level of competition too, and pride in your liquid. Especially when you talk, to the owners and to the brewers. Everybody believes that they make the best.
Yeah. You want to be friends, but you want to be the best.
Well, in Michigan, we a lot of us make great beer, and you go down, to Florida, they're 3 years behind. They're 3 years behind us. There's some great breweries down in Florida. Don't get me wrong.
Water?
But
Oh God.
I mean, I'm talking about when you walk around into the restaurant industry, their perception of the craft beer industry is 3 years behind what any bar or restaurant manager here is talking about down in Ferndale, Royal Oak. It's weird. You walk into a wing spot down there and they're like, "Oh, I got these awesome IPAs. They're gonna pair great with these spicy foods, and this is the best." Like,
Don't do it.
I mean, I feel like they should have learned that by now. I mean,
No, but they don't.
The Midwest is. I mean, it's one of those weird facts. Like kind of one of those like I don't even understand why I know this.
They listen to Rate Beer.
Right, this is like the nest of where newscasters are taught how to speak on the news across the country. That's why like everybody on the news basically have a Midwestern accent. Is because they're taught here. It's kind of like the same thing with beer.
Non-regional
Is that
diction.
that should be they should just like.
But there's a lot of West Coast trends.
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
fashion. There's a lot of and
but the West
music
Coast is
and
East Coast in the Midwest.
But
it's true. It's true. But when you listen, like big IPAs, we did pave the way. My dear friend Steve Busca, Two Hearted, right? Him and Rob Scala They made Two Hearted, and the first batch they ever brewed, they used so many hops to turn green. And they're like, "Oh man, we can't drink this," but somebody will,
Yeah.
And now it's It's world renowned. But that was a technique that wasn't being adopted really at the time. You know, Dogfish Head they talk about the story where Sam brings out the football game to shake the hops in for 60 minutes, continually hopping. But like that technique, that was still being developed. You know, I think Sierra Nevada had done some stuff with dry hopping, but you know, Steve and Rob, they were doing some stuff here in Michigan. You're right, paving the way in a sense. And when I came up in craft beer, I started at Old Peninsula Brew Pub in Kalamazoo, across the street from Bell's. And
Don't worry, it's on camera.
Oh my God.
Bit of an AA Ron mess up.
Go see Mr. Oshag Hennessy. You done fucked up, Ron.
Principal Shaughnessy?
Oshag
Get out of my
Hennessy.
goddamn classroom.
So you know, before we get into this, you know, one of the big things, especially, you know, you're talking about ROAK, you're talking about Too Hardy, you're talking about, you know, Griffin Claw. You know, all these breweries, beer you can find over at Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills.
There's one.
Just south of M59
Jack,
on Rochester
Jack,
Road.
Jack.
Everyone knows Jack.
I know Jack.
Go see him.
Go say hi to Jack.
While you're
He
there,
knows
go
his
pick up your
beers.
My Beer
Michigan
Box.
beer
You can get your own MI beer box over at Zatuna Liquor. And we are going to take a quick break, guys. We're going to be back about 10 minutes or so. We're going to reset, kind of clean up the table. As you can
shitload of
see
beer.
by all
Sorry,
the cameras,
sorry.
there is a lot. No, I wasn't referring to you, Spilly, but now that you mentioned you spilled. A lot of empties. We're just going to kind of clean up a little bit.
Yep.
So we are going to be right back with the Better on Draft podcast.
In a minute.
I'm headed for
What a
the
jackass.
city, trouble in my mind. I'm way too young and pretty for things to be unkind. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I'm headed for the city to see what I can unwind. Always gotta start it to dictate, make it in this life. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh,
And we are back, 168, Better on Draft podcast. Still with us.
Can I get a bracket?
You can get a bracket. We're already 1 week into the bracket, and going through the bracket real
were
quick.
in
The
the
results. In regard, so what I'll do is I'll name the results, and then Matt can tell us if we got it right or wrong, because I think Matt's got the
I do have the show bracket.
the show bracket. There we go. So Coonan over Pileated. We got it right.
Show got that right, correct.
Austin Brothers over Big Heart.
The show got that right. I got that wrong. I think everybody else got that right.
All right, I just want to care about the show.
Well, I love
We're
you too.
out of
Don't worry
time.
about the rest of
We're out
us.
of time. Time crunch. Watermark over Canton Brewworks.
Can't Brewer. No, we got Can't Brewworks. Didn't? Oh no, the show we did get that wrong.
Yep.
Got it. We
Russ-
Watermark won that one?
back end.
Watermark won that one. Rustic Leaf over Pawpaw.
Correct. The show picked Paw against my my console.
That's complex as hell.
All right. Fillmore 13 over Black Lotus.
We got that right.
Tapestry over Liberty Street.
We actually picked Liberty Street there.
That was a 158 to 151 in regards to a 7-vote total. So Watermark won by 5, by the way.
Thanks, Joe.
Damn.
Brooks over Haymarket.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knew who Haymarket was.
I did. And Onewell over Oracle.
They're gonna win. I tell you.
You're still picking them in the win.
All right. Starting with the top right, Grand River over Downey Brewing.
Nobody saw that one coming.
No.
Actually, the staff at the Motor City Lounge picked that win. That was the only one that they picked correctly.
There you go. We have drafting table over Salt Springs.
We did get that
Saw
correct.
that,
I think
yeah.
everyone got that right.
Probably the bad beat of the night, and that is Eternity Brewing
So
defeating Draft Horse.
now, do we discuss that online, or do we just like let that go?
Eternity Brewing defeated Draft Horse.
Got it. Yes.
It was legit. No, let's discuss it right now. It was legit. There's gonna be no recount. There's
They
no
forgot to
revote.
take the post down at what was it, 6 o'clock?
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wait.
They won.
Wait.
It's over.
No Russians were involved in the voting of this particular bracket.
Aberrant defeated Tenacity.
correct.
They shout out to Tom Cable.
The biggest vote total was by Brewery 424, defeating Batch Brewing.
Yeah, which blew everybody's bracket because the show picked Batch to win the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you sold out North Center Brewing, our sponsor, over there in north of Michigan, just south of Baseline Road in north of Michigan.
Oh,
Now serving food.
I don't believe that was me that did that.
That was
Trevor
100% you. Because we have the footage.
I don't believe
Roll
so.
that tape.
Brewery Becker defeating Farmington.
Very big up. I think that's an upset as well.
I agree. And we got North Center over Arclight.
Correct.
And Jamex over ROAK.
Only Rob picked Jamex over ROAK.
where's Jamex from?
Jamex is in St. Clair Shores.
East
We
side.
should have visited when we.
East side certified.
saw
That
the
is
line.
the home of
St. Clair Shores, not
Oh, St. Clair.
Port Huron. You big
Sounds like
Not
we got
St.
ourselves
Clair.
a
You
pretty
ignorant
interesting round 2 coming
So
up.
we do have
That's
we do have,
Pettiprint, huh?
we do have a bracket challenge. So there has been a minor shakeup, but leading the way is Rob's bracket with 10 points. Actually 11
Can I see
because
that bracket?
10 of
actually,
16.
Rob seems like the only sensible one in the room anyway.
with 9 points, the show bracket tied with 8 is my bracket and the staff bracket, and picking up the short end of the stick per usual is
Kiss
Nick.
my ass, dude.
I would, but it's too low to the ground.
Oh, I'll make
Nick.
it high enough. Don't worry.
Get the booster
I'll
seat.
stand. Yeah, I'll stand
Children.
on the fucking table.
Children.
So Nick's got
Asshole.
7 times. So, however, the show's bracket is busted, having Can Brewworks, Downey, and Batch in the final 4, and having Batch win it. There's no way that you're going to get points after that. I have Can Brewworks, Downey, and Batch also in the final 4, so that's not going to be good for me unless Onewell takes it. Nick, his final 4 still has 2 of the 4. left,
No,
I
it's
believe.
got 2. Yeah, but you forgot the. It's 2.
Rob's got
Fillmore.
Brooks and Coonan.
Pontiac.
The
Fillmore?
Fillmore
staff-
13.
Fillmore 13, bro.
Pontiac, right across the fermentation, same building.
I stepped out of the
Experimentation,
game
yes.
for a minute.
You were out for a minute.
The motor or the Music City or the Music
by the way,
Town.
Music
hey,
Town.
This is in Tennessee.
Where's Griffin Claw on this?
They're too big.
I don't know who they are.
too big?
I heard
Yeah.
they're horrible. So
What do you mean they're too big?
They actually sell beer at a massive quantity.
They're 10K plus, bro.
Yeah.
I heard they suck.
So Griffin Claw, or not Griffin Claw, Crane River and
That was
Fillmore-
Kyle, by the way, from Griffin Club. Please do not.
Right.
Kyle does not represent Better on Draft podcast and their opinions.
And Rob, who's in your
It's
final
actually
4 that's still
Ken, so-
alive? How many do you have?
That's a good question. I guess I still have I have Austin Brothers, Fillmore 13, and drafting table.
So Rob's in the catbird seat, if you will. So we'll see how this goes as the weeks progress.
I feel like we failed Rob because
I picked you guys, and then I kept coaxing Aaron to like get the bots going, or at least put an APB out for like the marketing team to get a couple of Facebook likes.
He did, but
so who was
twice?
he was in this deep planning sessions.
Was this Monday?
Let me give you my card
We were
before we
drunk.
go.
So.
Tuesday.
Oh,
and
thanks,
today.
Scott.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
these deep planning sessions to get to 20,000 barrels.
so
As
top,
Matt,
Strategy.
as Matt would say.
Have
So
you seen our new
it's-
calendar?
It's strategery. Thank you.
Can we put it up on the whiteboard?
Put it up on the Facebook page.
There's no whiteboard.
Yeah, there's no
We have
way.
green and orange board, or green and black board.
Confused. They don't have that.
What is this calendar you speak of?
Yeah, we
It's
got
our,
a new
it's
calendar.
our
out.
revamp. It's
yeah.
our revamp for the calendar for the year.
Yeah, and I mean it's
Our
nice,
release
man.
calendar.
We'll send it over to you guys. We got our fresh series with a couple of New Englands. You guys familiar with our Flavorful 5?
Yeah.
We brought Blow Your Face Out. That kind of kicked the year off.
Can I ask a question? I have a small request or thought. Can we do Ice Cream Man on Nitro, please? Maybe with a little bit of lactose.
You know what? Maybe we could possibly try that at the tap room. But I'm gonna vanilla dissipates in
But I just think like-
nitro so quick.
Yeah, but you still have
You
all those
got-
playful flavors, and then you get the mouthfeel of the
playful
the
Dude, your head went where mine was. I'm like, playful.
You gotta say it really low.
But you get that mouthfeel of ice cream.
I got to be honest with you. I've never had ice cream, man. So
You've never had. Can we kick this man out of the studio?
I've never had ice cream,
You've
man.
never had ice cream, man.
Hey, I'm new.
Hold on.
I'm a new addition.
Yo. Neither have I. We've both been here since he's been here since November. I've been here a month and a half.
Ice cream man is the best beer you guys have.
I'm glad it's not our
No,
fucking.
blow
It's
your
not
face
fucking
out.
summer.
Have you had blow your face out?
We will in 2 months.
This year's batch of blow your face out is probably the best beer that we brew.
Cracking it right now. And someone please
10.5%.
please tell me
We
that-
actually had it before it got launched to the public.
Yes, we did.
On the very first ROAK episode like 20 something.
Yeah.
3. Wasn't it episode 3?
Yeah, but this year's version of the beer, of what I understand, the brewers had more time to prepare the beer, so they gave it a little more time to polish it.
I'm gonna shake you off like Justin
No.
Verlander, bottom of the
Oh,
9.
You're gonna
two
shake
on,
me off
two
until
out.
you smell the beer, until you
wanna be
taste the
Justin
beer.
Kate Upton.
3 sips.
Kate Upton.
All right.
All I can say is I'm really hoping that the beer being named Ice Cream Man is a reference to Van Halen.
I'm sure it is. 'Cause John is a rocker through and
Because
through.
I grew up with Van Halen's 1984, and I grew up as a confused ass kid, and Van Halen's 1984 and NWA's Straight Outta Compton were the two albums that I grew up with as a kid, and I was confused as fuck.
Yeah.
But David Lee Roth just belting out Ice Cream Man. Is that just like every time I hear the name of this beer, that is exactly what I'm thinking
If
of.
you look at the names, like We Who See, Ice Cream Man, freaking like
Blow Your Face
Blow
Out.
Your Face Out, they're all nods to
Some type of music.
rock and roll.
So we're
you know.
looking at episode 22, which is when ROAK was on, which was March 5th, 2016. So over 3 years ago. This was the drink list that we had from ROAK. We had Cashmere, Blow Your Face Out, Livewire, Devil Dog, and Around the Clock.
3 of those are still
Magically,
even
we
back.
also had Right Brain Breweries.
Magically.
Igor Takes a Digger.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that night we also had Heady Topper and Black Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice lineup.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was.
is a nice
I don't
lineup.
mind being associated with Hetty Topper.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
No. No.
Was it not fresh? Hold
Chicken
up, hold up.
Haterade over
Was it
there
not?
in that
Was it
red
not
cup?
fresh?
Oh, it was fresh. It was
was it
fresh.
good?
It just was not good.
It wasn't. I didn't enjoy
People
it
are
at all.
telling me it's because we kind of
I really
probably
didn't.
blew our palates with the
Yeah.
Black Tuesday.
You probably
Probably.
blew your face off.
But in regards to Heady
Thanks.
Topper,
Out. Sorry.
Thanks, Cal.
overrated and it don't matter.
I believe that, like, in that episode, if you listen back to that, I was talking to John and I told him that Blow Your Face Out was miles ahead of Heady Topper.
Oh yeah, that's
I
to
did
be
not
honest, that's
like-
that's the beer
Well, you
that
talk
changed
about
ROAK.
Michigan beers again, and
Yeah.
and the quality up here, and then when you go into other parts of the country, I don't know that it's there.
I think it's just the majesty, the majesty of a beer that does not get here.
It might be the best in the area for all.
Right.
For,
I mean,
you know,
I just there's a can. There, like one of the cans. It was haze from I think Treehouse or Treehouse or Trillium. One of the two. I always get too confused. But I just had that, and I'm just like, it's no Boss Tweed.
Like what's that brewery that just came to the state?
Lord
Lord Hobo.
Lord Hobo just came. So the day that it came here, I went and grabbed all 8 varieties they had and brought it upstairs. We did research and development day, and we all drank it, and we all just sat there and was
Nope.
like, "Huh, it's fine, it's okay,
It's okay.
good
but
luck.
Yeah.
it's not like
Good luck.
it didn't blow us away."
Yeah. I had
didn't blow your face
Virtuoso.
off?
And Virtuoso was kind of the friend, my friend who works in distribution. He gave me the can of Virtuoso and Boom Sauce, and Virtuoso. He was basically saying that this was kind of gonna be one of the competitors to Boss Tweed. I said okay, so I tried to look at that as in a unbiased opinion, and I'm taking a sip of this, and I'm like,
No.
okay, like I get the nose of it. I'm like, all right, it's close, and then I take the sip of it, and I'm like. Wait, and then like that sharp, super sharp grapefruit note hits right in the middle of it, and I'm like, no, this is not,
Yeah.
this is not there. The Boom Sauce, it's just like it's a standard double
good.
IPA.
It's fine.
It's all right. I'm like, okay, it's it's
I like
two hearted
I like
without
glorious.
yeah.
Glorious is fine.
It was okay, but I'm like, I got two hearted. What do I need Boom Sauce for?
Chris in our chat brings up a great point, and I think it's definitely something to.
Chris who?
Hickory?
Hickory?
Yes.
Hickory.
Bakery.
Hickory.
Hey, real quick,
Hickory
before
like
you get into that,
bakery.
hey, want to give a quick shout out to Chris Hickory, who just accepted a
Oh,
job with Austin Brothers today.
You're gonna like.
Oh man,
You're gonna
Yeah,
put him out
absolutely.
there. You're gonna put him out
Yeah,
there.
he put it out there. I want to give him a shout out, bro.
Yeah,
you
he
were
works
getting
for
your
us.
ass drunk the fuck off.
No, dude, I want to give him a shout out. That's
No,
hey,
I mean, it's a
well
good shout.
deserved.
Yeah.
Accepted
Yeah.
a
No,
job today.
If you want to talk about episodes that our guests
Yeah.
got completely tanked, John Leone and Austin Brothers for sure.
What
Hold on.
episode?
Blake Austin?
What
With
episode?
an honorable mention of Black Friday.
Oh yeah, Black Friday. But
Yeah.
Kyle doesn't count. He doesn't have a life.
I was talking about front butt stuff. So
So on Austin Brothers, the episode that
I just
father,
mentioned it again. God damn it.
the father was, to use a pun for our first guest of the show, 3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah, Shasta McNasty.
Yeah, he was definitely messed up.
He
So
gone.
he brings up a great point that says beer always tastes better when you can't find it close to home. And I, think
know
it's
about that.
Well,
It's the New Belgium effect.
Well, no, let me rephrase that. Yes.
I have a new theory.
Oh,
In
God.
this generation, experience is the new luxury. When you can have an experience that you can't otherwise have easily, it's more important than having gold or luxury or caviar and all those things.
It's like that DirecTV commercial with the opulence.
No,
I has it.
This is not me kissing a tiny. This is not me kissing a tiny giraffe. But the thing is, like, I would rather my generation. I think the millennials over here speak to it. I would rather do something fun than have something expensive displayed in my house. So I think
That's fair. That's fair.
You
So-
want the experience.
So
Yeah.
having something or being able to access and have the experience of something that isn't accessible here is more important than
Yeah, no,
something
he's
crazy.
right. He's right. I
So,
mean,
like the New Belgium effect, if you call it,
Yeah,
the moment
it's
it
a New
comes
Belgium
here,
effect.
it loses its luster. Like if
Yeah.
you find a new diamond mine in Africa, diamonds go down, however many folds.
So
and-
Real quick,
we
yeah, what
say
was the
New
question?
Be-
What
we
was
say
the
New Belgium, but to be honest, you want to talk about more. I guess you could say modern because
Cigar
of how
City.
No, not Cigar City.
shit
That
was
was
bad real
that was
fast.
fast. But I was going to say Ballast Point.
Ballast Point.
Ballast Point was probably
Yeah.
the biggest like hype train come in and hype train leave very
I was
fast.
part of that distribution channel when it came in too, and that was frustrating as hell. Everybody wanted it, the second that we launched it, and stacks upon stacks upon stacks, and then they all sold, and then we redid it again, and then it's.
I think it's
that
just
second
tough.
buy didn't happen.
It's tough because I think we are a state that is beer spoiled. We have a lot
said that earlier,
of
yeah.
good beer that is in this state, and when somebody tries to come in and I mean, for lack of a better term, try to come and take our corner, then it
Good
like,
luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Hey, especially at $15.99 or $14.99, whatever the hell they came in at.
Go down to Glass City Beer Fest or I'm
not going to
down in Ohio, in Toledo. Yeah, no, I kid you not though. The way that when people go out to the beer fest out there, it's a different mindset. It's a different atmosphere.
They're on dates with their sister at that point.
You're not south far enough.
Listen,
It's
Toledo's
Toledo.
Toledo's
Yeah, you
an
are.
extension of Detroit.
Don't crack on
It's
Toledo.
me.
Don't watch your
Detroit.
mouth
Hey,
when you say
hey,
that.
Don't-
I like
don't-
UP
Go
better.
back to
Detroit.
Frankenmuth right now.
I like
Don't crack
you know
on
your
Toledo
history.
because that was almost ours.
I'd
I
rather
like
have
the
Toledo
UP
than-
better.
We
than
won. Hey,
Lincoln
we
Park.
won that acquisition.
We got
Yeah.
the UP.
You won that
Yeah.
acquisition right
Hey.
there.
Fine.
The beer culture down there is cool. I'm telling you, but it's not. It's very different from Michigan. And here
It's all that
we
corn.
are
It's all that
spoiled.
corn syrup.
Maybe it's
So
all
going
that
back,
culture.
what was the original question?
The original
yeah,
question
good
was,
point.
or more comment is, beer always tastes better when you can't find it close to home. So, and that doesn't even necessarily mean distro. Think of a brewery that's not necessarily distro within the state
New
that
Glarus.
you enjoy. So, not within the state. So,
within the
Wisconsin is not in Michigan.
It's not.
I don't know if you know.
I don't agree with
but
that because when I know that I'm drinking a beer that's right around the corner, I know it's fresh, and then that's how I want it.
yeah,
I want
I mean-
beer as fresh as I can get it.
Well,
Maybe
yeah, but
I'm
put it
spoiled.
this way.
Maybe I'm
me
spoiled
ask you
because
this, though.
I've been in the brewery the last 10 years.
I think I'm more trying to say, like, for instance, if you enjoy
transient.
Hop Lot, you can't get Hop Lot
No,
distro,
I
but
can-
you have to go to
I can-
Traverse
I
City.
can lawyer the shit out of him real quick. Your favorite beer is the,
You want to lure the shit out of them?
Lawyer.
lawyer.
Oh, lawyer.
So the Dunkel from Frankenmuth, right? You got it, Chuck.
Yes.
Would you rather drink the Dunkel at Frankenmuth Brewery or in a 6-pack that went to a party store first?
brewery.
From the brewery.
I answered
Exactly.
for him.
So back to his point, it's you'd rather have it where it is, not when it's brought to you.
It's the Holmes effect, though, too. Like everyone in the southeast part of Michigan loves Holmes, and
Never been
I'm
there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a victim of that because I think they're phenomenal. I'm actually
Yeah.
surprised I'm not wearing one of their shirts right now. But like on the west side of the state, they don't know that. And
No.
they crave it because they don't have it and they can't come
But they're,
get it.
how are,
We can't
they're on
keep
like a
cheating the
one barrel
effect.
system though. How are they ever going to get to the west side of the state?
I don't think they want to.
I don't think they want to, but I don't think it's possible because the guys that are brewing on one barrel systems that want to get to 3, 5, 7 barrel systems have to change their recipes. It's hard to scale up.
And
But
I think that's
that's
just
also the allure too.
I
That's what
think
Right,
that's it. is
yeah.
that I think that they love the
exclusivity.
allure.
You're right.
Experience over
because
luxury.
if they get bigger, then they end up being the next ballast
Like
point where
money
everybody gets
over
tired of
everything.
it.
But does limited or does that small quantity equate to quality?
Exclusivity.
Exclusivity?
That's what it matters.
Right.
Just because it's
they could
exclusive
literally-
doesn't mean it's good.
They no, but
No.
they could piss in. They
No.
could piss.
Although I do
5
like
gallons.
Holmes, though I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
I
no.
like it. I like it. I
I
like
like
it.
But
that
piss
for a
5
second,
gallons, and if only 10 people can drink it, those 10 people are going to say it's the best piss they've ever had in their lives, and they're going to brag to all their friends that they had. The
I mean
piss.
that might be the same thing with what's the name of that brewery? Smart Mouth and their Lucky Charms beer that everybody's been
it got
has been
posted
posting about,
everywhere.
and like everybody's
that
like
got
sending me
national media.
They're sending me messages like dude, can you get this? I'm like,
the hell no.
dude, no. You drop your happy ass out to Virginia and you go get it your damn self.
Or you
I
go
don't
to
have time for that.
Coonan on next
Right,
Sunday.
you go to
St.
Coonan
Patty's Day.
for
There
St.
you go.
Patty's Day for Breakfast of Champions,
Been doing
and
it
you
for
can
5
get
years,
their
10
version
years,
of a
whatever.
Lucky Charms beer. And this stuff hit where there were people who were in line. They were in line for 3 hours and longer to get this beer. The reviews started coming out like shit. Like I can't believe I just waited 3 hours for this beer,
Oh, I
and all
love
I
that.
taste is just shitty sugary marshmallows. And the reviews got better, but it
Was
got
that
to
your
a point.
review of Malo from Drafting Table?
I didn't get Mal from Drafting Table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah. Let's not get into
You
that.
did get a bottle, like
I got a bottle.
A bottle was given to
Of
you
rye.
because you
yes,
missed.
and I do appreciate that. So shout out to Mark on that one. But I mean, as far as
Well,
the Lucky Charms beer, it went on eBay and it started selling for $450.
There you go in
That's what-
regards to exclusivity, though, is you have Malo.
One, you can't even do that.
No,
You watch me do
No,
me.
but like so
As
like
Rocco wants
when,
You sell it as empty cans.
when CBS
on
came
eBay.
out for the first time 6 years ago or whatever it was, I had to hand deliver those bottles, and I remember like driving around Troy hand delivering those, and then I randomly looked on eBay, and the one bottle I had in my car was going for $275. You think that I didn't think for 5 seconds like, fuck, I could pay like half my rent right now.
Yeah.
But I decided not to because I might get fired. But
And you have integrity. We appreciate that.
I hate
You met this guy, or
It's like I hate to say it, but I feel like the exclusivity of beer has turned into the peak moment when people were trying to buy tickets for Hannah Montana. And like when people would just scalp tickets and buy those
about
tickets
Hamilton?
en
Remember the
masse
Beanie Baby
and then
craze?
turn around and sell those tickets for like $16, $17,
I got a better one.
$1,800.
Isn't this the whole buy all the Tickle Me Elmos? And
Yep.
then
Yeah, this
sell
is
them?
basically
What
it.
was
You
that
create a
Arnold
business on a business.
Schwarzenegger Sinbad movie?
Jingle
all the way. Jingle all the
Jingle
way.
all the
Oh
way.
no, wasn't it the last superhero or something?
No, that was Jingle All the
No,
Way.
that
Jingle
was
all
it.
the way.
What a great underrated movie of the night. Was that 90s?
Get to
Probably.
the job.
Late 90s. I
Yeah,
think.
Late
late
90s.
90s. Late 90s was
90s.
the greatest ever.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about
Get
that.
to the job.
Well, again, we're talking exclusivity and a market. When we had Drafting Table, and we talked about this black market of beer and how much money people like. Somebody bought a Malo with a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Like a bottle of beer, which, mind you, the only time you could have had it prior to this bottle release was the Summer Beer Festival.
Yeah.
And to get this bottle, like someone literally gave away a Nintendo Switch just to get a bottle of beer. Like I just don't understand how a lot of people can get to these prices, especially for and we've talked about it in regard because a lot of people we mentioned Hannah Montana, we mentioned Beanie Babies, we mentioned Hamilton, and it's creating a need for the tickets because you bought all the tickets.
I mean,
therefore the tickets are needed.
There were two things where they were at that point. They were tough to get. It was tough for people to get a Nintendo Switch at that time, and then it was extremely difficult for somebody to get a Mallow. So, I mean, really, I kind of feel like the person who gave away the Switch kind of undersold a little bit.
Well, let's kind of start. What's the most
They
you've
could have
ever
waited
spent
6
for a
months to
beer,
get a new Switch.
Aaron?
I mean,
I was gonna say we're an audio medium, so
No,
you,
yeah, sorry. Realistically, I mean, I've never bought something black market. I've also never needed to. That's another plus when you have friends in the beer business.
so
You just get shit.
yes, but
I mean, probably it was either a 4-pack of KBS like a couple years ago when it was actually rare and not everywhere.
all right. So what's something you would spend black market prices on because you can't get from your friends?
Jordans? You gonna buy those new Jordans, bro?
Apparently a Canadian tuxedo.
Chuck woke up.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Excuse me.
Honestly, I would say a Hunapu
Okay.
because
This weekend.
Oh, how about some Cantillon, baby?
You could have went to I think B Nectar had Hunafu on draft when they were
when they did the
Ferndale.
festival.
The Ferndale
but
Festival.
those bottles of Hunapu.
I mean, I'm just saying
So,
there's a chance for you to get it
it's-
here, but you were too busy
saying
being in the
there's a
Brewers
chance.
Guild.
It's funny you mentioned Hunapu because I'm on my beer cellar, and the most recent one, there was a 13 and a 17 sold together for $95.
Come on.
I was gonna say that ain't a bad price.
No,
not
that's
that
at all.
bad.
Yeah.
What is,
Actually, you know
what is
what?
Cantillon running for you guys?
How about Bourbon County? Sorry, real quick.
Bourbon
Prop.
County, yeah.
Bourbon County prop. I'd pay some good money for one.
We had the prop on the show, didn't we?
We did have the prop on the
did.
It
show.
was meh.
We
What
had
what color is that one?
Of course, because
Blue.
it's like
Blue.
built up,
we had when
With the copper series.
Is
Nick
that a good
Drinks.
cork?
If you guys are familiar with Nick
Nick
Britsky,
Britsky. Good dude.
we had Nick Drinks on the show, and he did a huge thing over at Bourbon County, and he actually couldn't be on the show until a specific date because we couldn't crack open the bottles legally for a specific date.
awesome.
So he had bottles of Bourbon County prior to Black Friday.
Yeah, there was
and
the-
we just had to like kind of sit and wait. Like, can we do
watch
it
it.
now?
Have a show watching
Can we
it,
do
that's
it
all.
now? Well, no, we waited till after so we
know.
could crack it open. Their copper, I think it was.
Yeah.
Their copper series.
There was the one that was with the blueberries, and then there was a Kentucky bourbon barrel one.
That was the
That's
copper.
like, yeah, I think that was the copper. That was like the two that I remember.
They did like 4 different ones, and we got two of
Yeah.
them.
See, for me, I would pay a premium just because I want it here and we don't get it here yet. And that's Funky Buddha's. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
Yes.
They're hop
We did have that one.
And to be honest, that might be one of those, and I'll get to you in a second, Nick. That might be one of those like scarcity equals quality. Like we might, because we had it and we loved it on this show.
Yeah.
But if we get it here, just like I haven't bought a 6-pack of Maduro and I can't tell you how long. But every time someone Maduro Brown from Cigar
that
City,
beer.
but
Absolutely love that beer.
I still have the 6-pack that Nick gave me for his bachelor gift for standing up in his wedding. I haven't
Vanilla,
drank
I
all
bought
of
a
it.
like
6
5
pack
months
for
ago.
Super Bowl. That beer is the closest thing to the Dunkel that I've ever found.
All right, Nick, what were you going to say?
So you guys must be looking at my beer sale because a proprietor 4-year vertical, $600.
yeah.
There we go.
What? I once spent $51 on a beer.
Kyle, we should start hiding bottles,
I
bro.
mean,
It's what I went and bought.
We
I
are-
mean,
$25 a
You
bottle.
tell me where to hide it, and I will. But just don't say. Yeah, okay.
It's what I spent.
You
what I
got
spent-
dysentery.
I stopped.
It's the last time I was at Central and I bought 330 packs of Busch Light. That's the only time I'll spend that kind of money on
Flare
beer.
up, just.
Holla
Yeah,
at
hey,
your
yeah,
boy.
fire up, baby.
I was going to say, at that point, why don't
Let's
you just
go.
buy a keg?
Wait, hey, where's Antonio Brown going?
Oh,
Ooh,
don't get
where
me.
is Daniel
Lions,
Brown?
Raiders.
step up to the plate. Bring your boy home.
He ain't going to the line.
He's not. He's not.
Raiders.
He's
You
not.
you
As,
wouldn't
If
mind
we
that.
can
As
get Landon
Raiders,
Collins,
he's
I'll
like
be
Raiders.
happy.
Landing
Yes.
count. Oh, Trey
Come
Flowers
on.
too.
Too expensive.
Hey,
as
oh,
a
we-
hardcore.
TJ
God
ain't
forbid
signing,
we
we
spend
have
a
the
little
money.
money and bring in, a decent,
Yeah.
a decent talent.
As a hardcore Steelers fan, I was this morning laughing my ass off when I was seeing the reports of him going to the Bills. But
You love that
but
video
I,
that's
but,
out
but
right
I immediately thought he's going to pull an Eli Manning and he's going to say he's not going to play.
Shown enough,
and
he
sure
did.
enough he did. So
There was a great-
he ain't coming here.
True story. I ran into Le'Veon Bell at the club in Miami.
Did you pay him $28 million?
No,
Were
right,
you getting jiggy with it?
right before week,
Chucky does get
right
down.
before week 10.
Did
Week
he have
10.
those giant thighs? Are we talking like Barry
This
Sanders
dude's
thighs?
massive, dude.
That guy's freaks
He's
me out.
massive. He's massive.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, he might be out of shape." No,
No.
that
So-
dude's not out of shape. He'll eat you
I once
alive.
saw one
He's
Sammy
In the
Sosa.
chat, we actually had Justin Lewis talk about buying beer, and he said a 15 rare. That was probably the most expensive beer he ever bought. And Chris Hickory says, "Who buys beer?"
I once saw white Sammy Sosa throw a woman into a car.
Oh, you mean
in
Dracula?
Miami.
Who buys
You saw what?
White
Seriously?
Sammy Sosa?
Yeah.
I saw good blood.
We were at Club Live in Miami. At Fontainebleau. 6 o'clock in the morning, just throwing people in the car.
656.
like literally throwing people in
Like
the car?
belt, shirt, get in.
My
we have
boy
to
was
go.
trying to get in the live. He thought because it was Miami that he could walk in shorts because it's that nice weather. But the guy at the front's like, "Come on, man."
Cargo shorts, man?
Yeah, exactly. So they send him around. He's like, "Go around the corner." There's a guy around the corner selling jeans, nice jeans,
Yep.
every size that you can imagine, right? So he gets a nice
Ooh,
pair of
profit.
jeans, like $20-$30, whatever it was.
That's it?
Comes back in. He valets, coat checks his freaking shorts. At the door. Goes in. Tiger's in there, throwing singles.
Where do you hang out? I hang out in like my basement. So.
That was Miami.
That's the reason why
I
I'm
told
here
you.
on a Friday
I
night.
took a break. I took a break from the industry, man.
I want to take that break.
Plus, I'm a bachelor. I don't have a little baby.
Holla at
I
your
don't
boy.
have any.
Yeah, whatever.
Just living it up.
Kids are cool, right? Kids are cool. We're good.
Kids are cool.
I
Kids are
see
cool.
your Instagram.
Hey, I
I'm
envy
sorry,
you.
I'm
I
jealous.
envy you.
Hey, shout out to Robillard and his
35 kids.
His 35 kids. Yeah.
I hope he's on. Is he on vacay now?
No,
Or
he's
is he
next weekend.
tuning in?
Oh, next week?
Yeah, he's at Blue Front in Ann Arbor right now.
Get that tasting done, boy.
Yeah, he's always on the grind.
Blue
That's what I'm
Front.
saying. Griffin Claw
good
guys.
stuff.
We got to
Let's-
build that team, AA. Ron.
Let's kind of bring around in regards to beer instead of sports.
Yeah, we do.
As much as I love talking sports and can talk sports, what's your guys' favorite place to do a tap takeover or to do an event? Like, what's your go-to place you want to kind of give a shout out, or your favorite tap takeover? you've
I was
ever
gonna say
done?
somewhere close to my house, but
Griffin Claw?
I mean, you could have said it and just not said because it's close to
You
your
live
house.
right by Griffin Claw.
Clubhouse
Just do a tap-
BFD.
we haven't done a tap takeover yet with our brand. I mean, like an official tap takeover.
Well, I have.
You have one this
Chucky did before.
I
did.
have.
Saturday
Thank
at
you.
Firebird Tavern.
That's a
Well,
beer
we got a
dinner.
beer
That's a
dinner.
great place.
No, actually, Brown Iron.
yeah,
I
that's
really
right.
like
Yeah.
Brown Iron. Tim and Patty are very cool.
Yeah, Tim introduced himself to me, and it was very, very confusing because, one, he sponsored the show. Two, he's met me plenty of times. And so he's like, "Oh, what do you?" Because we were pouring for drafting table at the Winter Beer Conference, and
Don't
he's
look
like,
at me. I wasn't there.
It was Rob. Yeah.
Don't look at me. I mean, I've been drunk, but I wasn't that drunk.
So Tim walks up. He's
I mean,
like,
I
"Oh,
was,
you guys
but-
do great stuff at Drafty Table. My name's Tim. I'm from Brown Iron." I'm like, "Yeah, my name's Ken. I'm from Better on Draft." And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." No, very, very nice. I think it's a funny thing. I also, the last time I saw him, I was probably like 60 or 70 pounds heavier. So
Way to like.
I would
not
say
mention that till the end of the
I would
show.
say throw in mention number 1. Go for it.
I didn't say anything. I just said that I've transformed a little bit. I've lost some weight.
Yeah, it's
I
more
mean,
than
especially
ECI.
since the last time
Yeah.
I saw you, I've lost
I
some
think Aaron
weight.
took it all.
Dude, I did. I swear to God, I'm the heaviest I've been ever.
Well, you hold it well.
too.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
You look good.
Thanks, baby.
So Brown Iron Brew House. What about like within Blake's or within Rochester Mills? Like, where have you gone and done a tap takeover, or at least participated in a tap takeover? Where would you like to see a ROAK tap takeover?
First
I
of
don't
all,
care.
we had a little mini at Scoreboard today.
Today, yeah.
Three Nicks.
Shout out to
Alright.
3 Nicks.
How about El
Ryan and
Mary's?
Nicole,
El
good
Mary's
people.
was cool. I
So
love
Ju-
Pam.
I was gonna
She's
say,
cool.
I love Justin Price, my boy, your boy.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Justin's
boy.
cool. Pam's
man.
cool. I love El Mary's.
See, here's the thing: we could go down this rabbit hole
killer.
and forget
Yeah,
to
it is a
forget to
rabbit hole.
give someone a shout out.
And then you're gonna
That's
get
his
kicked
That's
local.
why you
I'm gonna
just.
get-
That's why you
that's
just
like
named
the local.
one.
We're
That's it.
Three Blind Mice.
We're a struggling podcast.
Vinny,
That's us.
Vinny out at Three Blind Mice.
Or
Have you
Mount
talked to him at all?
Clemens.
Folding
Yeah,
warehouse.
at Mount Clemens.
Folding warehouse.
Foley Warehouse is good.
They were just
You know what? I need to go visit. I think Tessa's out there now at Folding Warehouse.
Tessa's still
we
at
gotta
Well, I can go to Folding
She's
Warehouse
doing
right
both
now.
now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess I think she's out of the country right now. But Embrew, Chelsea at Embrew.
Yeah. Chelsea's killing.
Come on, she's cool, man. She knows her beer.
Or you could do Bobcat Bonnies.
So
Oh,
the
I was
Bobcat
actually there on
Yeah,
Monday,
Bonnie.
Yeah.
and I saw one of your reps there,
Yeah.
and I almost approached him. I
Oh,
said,
he's Robillard.
That was Robillard.
That's
Yeah.
all. He sleeps, lives,
That was
dies.
Robillard.
I was about to
for
say,
sure.
wait, Monday?
Yeah, it's Robillard. Well, that was us. On
It was.
we weren't there though.
No,
but
we
were
weren't at that
there.
one. No, we weren't at that one.
Hopgazer going on tap at Bobcat Bonnie's.
What's Hopgazer?
It's a New England IPA. It's
What's
our
your favorite?
We got 3, but that's the middle of the road, 6.7%.
Or you could have beer of the month at Bobcat Bonnie's, was a Jake the Shake. It's a milkshake IPA made with strawberries. It's 8.5% ABV. $6 a mug.
And who makes that beer?
Oh, he put him on mute. Oh,
Let's go. Let's go.
He put it on mute. Oh, no.
Dickus Movus.
It's too tempting.
Wow.
I didn't know it was like that. This is
Damn.
a cold-blooded
Dude,
room.
So
alright?
what do you guys see the future of craft beer, at least for this year? Like, obviously, one of the big things in regards to what's moving and what's shaking is FMBs, because you got the seltzer waters that are just hitting hard.
love them.
I don't want to talk about FMB. But really, seltzer waters,
I want
yeah,
some
it's
White Claw.
it's a part of our life.
White
I guess
Claw's
it's a part of our life. But Mike's Hard Lemonade was a part of our lives too.
They still exist.
You could say
I
cider.
mean,
you
It
could
was a part
say
of our lives.
Wait,
You
wait.
could say a cider's a part of our
Is
lives.
Zima
You could
coming
say
back?
all this shit's a
Is
part of
Museum
our
was already
lives.
back.
I heard.
I mean, no,
heard.
because I mean, is it a part of your life that is just something that you just need to deal with?
No.
Or is it part of your life that you feel that that's a part of the market that you need to take a slice of?
I mean, I don't know if you
Honest
guys
truth.
know, but I'm keto, and the Clear Coast
Number
is
one.
keto beer. Our keto FMB. So
number one.
All right,
what do you
Brian
think?
Arnold. I like Brian Arnold out at Perrin. Those guys, they're good dudes. I mean,
Well, you do-
but let me just say this.
Hey, shout out to Matt Trotman, too.
Oh, that's true.
Big
All right.
Matty.
Shout out to Matt Droppin.
I just listen.
You just
We're
listen.
trying to
We're
make great
listening.
beer. We're trying to make great beer, man.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make.
No. Go back. Go
And
back to the
I was
original
just
question.
gonna say. All I was gonna say was I think that that the seltzers are gonna pull from cider actually, and you come from the cider world, Tots. I mean, the truth is,
Call them tots.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's my nickname,
I
bro.
love it.
I'm just saying.
Tots,
I
Tots.
don't think it's really eating at
Big time.
beer.
I think it's bringing to beer because if
Yeah.
if a brewery has a seltzer on tap, they could bring people to that wouldn't otherwise drink it because they're celiac or
Perhaps.
weird old keto
or low cal.
or just.
Hey.
I have to take a shot. I mean, it's
in like a year and a half, when I weigh less than you, it's gonna be hysterical.
it will be.
Because Matt's gonna balloon up, and I'm gonna be like under 200.
Don't you dare put the evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Shake and bake. Moving on.
So the original question was,
FMBs.
tell me if I'm right here.
Where do you think
the
craft beer in the industry is going
this
within
year?
this year?
Yeah, I mean,
Styles, lifestyles.
we talked about this a little bit today. It's honestly hard to predict what style is going to blow up because all it takes is, it's not like New England IPAs. It's not like they've not been around for 20 years. They've been around. It's not like it's something new. Like Old Nation didn't reinvent invent something new. They just put their take on it of a style that hadn't been around or hadn't been noticed for a long time and made it really good.
They blew up enough to become a category.
No, it was
No, it was
already.
no,
a
I mean, well,
category.
as far as GABF,
Notified category.
It was a micro category.
yeah.
It was a micro category.
It's
Now
been
it's
that.
actually-
So-
I remember
right.
reading
So my
about
point is-
articles before it was even named a New England, coming from like Iowa, where where they were being developed on craft beer, different websites, things like that. Looking on Twitter, just looking at blogs from craft beer enthusiasts. That they did a great job of bringing a style to Michigan and highlighting it, but
Where I see it going is someone's going to take a style that's very, very small and very, very unique
Like
and
all
make
beers.
it so that the general public can drink it. And it obviously has to be extremely good and extremely drinkable. And the people who do that and find maybe a niche market of I guess the general beer category, those people are going to be the winners over the next 12, 18 months.
So like people would bring back like ESBs and all beers.
No.
we've been. How many times have we talked about that with
saying
people
no, but
bringing
you
back
keep saying-
ESBs?
Yes.
I mean, it seems like that's something that is still just like ESBs feels like that's still something that's like 18 to 24 months out.
listen, I
in
was
my-
at Frankenmuth, right, and where we could do more traditional style beers, and people are a little more open to traditional style beers, especially visitors that are coming into town, right? Most of the volumes we moved at the pub, and we did an ESB. It's called Old Detroit Muscle,
Yep.
right? We use Timothy Taylor yeast. That's a beautiful yeast
Tim
strain,
the Toolman Taylor?
right? You'd think. But in all honesty,
Am I wrong?
try to sell an ESB out there. You can't because people aren't really interested in it. And
they-
it's a style
Those
of
three letters
beer.
that scare
It's
them.
the three
about
letters,
perception.
right?
They don't understand it,
perception.
for one. It's perception. Yeah. First and foremost, they don't understand it. And then secondly, you get so many hopheads out there looking for, not only New England's,
But I
but
think
how
the
about
hops are-
smash beers?
I think hop
single
beers
malt,
are-
single hops.
I think
and
the hoppers are
sours
dying.
and-
I think this 2019 is going to be the end of the crazy hoppy beers.
I don't know. I feel like
no.
they still.
I'm throwing the first shovel of dirt on it.
Hey, then you can throw it on there, but somebody's gonna hop out of the
What you think will
casket
blow your
saying,
face
"Hey,
off?
yeah." Someone's gonna hop out of the casket saying, "Hey, forgot my
Undertaker.
charger."
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Friday's
true.
coming out.
It's there's too many people that love hops.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of craft enthusiasts that start out
I hate that term.
in
What, craft beer enthusiasts?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know why.
Yeah, we don't discuss.
Okay,
Yeah, same. Anyway.
So
There's a lot of people out there that are
Move on.
that start out in craft beer. They're starting to enjoy it, but they're not quite embracing IPAs. I know when I first started, English IPAs were abrasive. I mean, I did not enjoy them. But after a couple of festivals and trying a whole bunch of different beers and starting to smell the beer and really taste the different hop profiles and what the different flavors that they exuded, oh man, are you kidding me? That gave me an opportunity to really understand what an IPA should be or could be. And then I started enjoying
Because you
different.
learn how to drink beer.
Yeah, I learned how to drink beer,
Yeah,
and that's what you're
palates.
seeing. Yeah, you're seeing consumers that are more informed, that are trying to learn to build a palate. Like, I still can't drink bourbon barrel beers. Like, I do not have a palate for it. That's why I like, secondary use barrel aged beers or something that's a little bit more subtle.
what's your go-to bourbon barrel aged beer then? Because you got to have at least one. Like, I have an IPA that I like. Like, do you have any bourbon barrel aged beers that you can tolerate or beers that you'll drink?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I Dragon's Milk is fantastic. It's a good beer.
Dragon's Milk is probably one of the best, well-made, rounded beers
Agreed.
in the world.
completely
Dragon's
agree.
milk, banana,
Period.
coconut, biatch.
Not even necessarily the variants, because the base drink itself is probably just one of the most solid, consistent.
Oh my God! Did you just pull that out?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, hold on. I
You
need to try.
asked.
I need to try this
Shelby.
now.
We're gonna crack open that Dragon's Milk, but within Dragon's Milk itself, like the beer itself is probably one of just it's such it's the definition of consistency within beer,
Yes,
especially
I
for
completely
a
agree.
barrel aged program.
It's very under appreciated because it's around so often. It's not the limited item.
Yep.
There you go though. Let's bring that back.
Yeah.
Exclusivity equals taste. We
I
were
mean,
talking
not
about
true.
that earlier.
Maybe,
But
but I'll say
does
this:
it-
when
yeah.
you go
Well,
national,
we know it doesn't. But
so nationally, right? Whenever I would go into a new state, and the only reason I can say is because you guys brought it up, I was gone all 2018. So any state,
we didn't notice.
I missed you.
Welcome back.
Oh, 28 minutes.
Because I missed you.
So when you talk about
want you.
when you go to any state, and you talk about bourbon barrel beers, and again, we're blessed here. We got a shit ton
Yeah.
of bourbon barrel stuff.
Yeah.
New Holland is always in the conversation, because again, it's always available.
Because I think they have already figured out their consistency with the bourbon and barrel
Well,
age,
this is
and it's just them throwing out these new flavors that, I mean, really you don't. I mean, when they come out and they get released and they talk about what they're going to release, you don't really expect. It's like when you saw with them in their media release a banana coconut, and you're like, banana coconut.
just call this
And then,
plantains?
and
Do
then
you
when they
guys
come
like,
out with
do you guys like these variants?
orange chocolate, you're like, orange chocolate.
I'm about 50-50 on variants in regards to the Dragon's Milk.
I mean, really, the only one from them that I didn't like was the Mexican cake.
I didn't like the triple mash.
That's my favorite
Did
one.
not
I'm
like
a
the orange.
traditional
I didn't
guy.
like the orange.
I just like.
So
I
so
just want a dragon's
I'll speak
milk,
to variants too
you
a
know.
little bit because like Flying Buffalo is for
Oh,
years.
Flying Buffalo does variants?
Yeah, I don't know if you've had them.
I'm pretty sure I did. I just don't remember.
We can try them all again if you'd like.
Yes, can we make that
on a table this big, maybe.
correct.
Can we
correct.
make it a Black Friday tradition, please?
I'm down.
done?
Yes.
Done.
Now,
and done.
and one of the things, and we kind of talked about it a little bit at the beer fest. I'm a little scared about the fact that there won't be a Great Lakes Flying Buffalo
I don't care, Mole.
this year.
I'm not
Mole,
scared.
mole.
hate
A
Moles.
little bit.
Cal's always
because
got a plan.
That has been, basically top 3 the last 4 years or 3 years, something like that. That has been one of my favorite beers. And even when the coffee has, even though obviously it all comes from Great Lakes, but the fact that the coffee profile has changed from year to year and it still has held that consistency for me to be one of my favorite barrel-aged coffee beers that is out there. And for Great Lakes to now be gone this year, that I'm a little scared, but at the same time, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what comes out there and what you guys are going to do this year.
When we put out there that we're gonna move on, and randomly we get Modern Times Coffee to respond.
Yes.
It gives me a little excitement in the insides.
And I got a brother who lives out in San Francisco, and I got a chance to actually bring back a couple beers from Modern Times, and I do like their stuff.
Yeah.
So I am really looking forward to seeing how that comes out and really trying
the
that
difference between like what Great Lakes did and what Modern Times is doing, and it's nothing towards Great Lakes or Modern Times for the matter, but we actually sent Modern Times the base beer, and they then took that beer and matched the coffee to it, where Great Lakes hadn't done that in the last 3 years. And Great Lakes was just was picking the best bean they possibly could.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against that. That's a phenomenal way to approach it as well. But I think there's something that goes to, or there's something that needs to be said towards matching the actual coffee bean to the actual beer that you're producing. Because there were some things that we didn't really like towards the end with what that final product was. But I can't say enough great things about Great Lakes. We love Great Lakes. They're a phenomenal beanery in this state, and they're a really, really great coffee place. And we really liked the relationship we had, and we still consider them a friend and a family member, but time to move on.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as Modern Times, I mean, it's good to definitely see that there is a San Diego brewery that's not being reckless.
Right, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
There's news on that. If
Oh,
you
I'm
want-
not giving up on that shit.
No, they've closed.
Yes, I'm
Reckless
aware.
They just
Reckless
closed as of
has put out a media post on Facebook that they are closing because of the backlash of their absolutely
Black Lager's mad.
But look at his response. So
asinine post that they put out there.
yeah. So those who
But-
got what you wanted. No, buddy.
what did he
You're
post?
stupid.
Oh, jeez.
I mean,
don't even
to
get-
me,
don't even- all right, hold
I
on,
think it's
hold on,
going
hold
too
on.
far. I think for them,
It's horrible, regardless.
I
All right, let's bring it back in, guys. We've been going for almost 2 hours. That is the show. We could talk offline a
damn
little
it.
bit more. No.
know. Oh no. You're
Next week.
I could.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more. Aaron, Chuck,
Cliffhanger.
Rook,
Dun, dun,
Rook,
dun.
Rook. Thank you so much for
Roku?
coming.
ROAK, that's right.
Rakuten.
Roke Brewing. Oh, do you guys got anything coming up? Events?
Yeah, we got some events coming up.
Thank you. Can, a little bit-
Tomorrow,
Firebird
you can
Tavern.
catch us at Firebird Tavern. We got a 4-course beer dinner.
All right.
We're gonna debut We Who See with the deep fried duck, crispy duck in a.
Is it duck
And,
blood soup? Some Chinina?
I was gonna
No. This is a deep fried duck confit with a with a
Those two things are
pomegranate reduction.
Wow.
May not be a confit. I was just throwing it in there because
Yeah.
you were saying that French word earlier, and I was just throwing that French word out.
It's
you know.
not. It's not like.
rendered in duck fat, which can't be fried.
It's not like
What is
Christmas Story.
Coffee is rendered in fat,
Yeah.
so it can't be both confit.
Why can't it be
fried.
crispy then? Crispy
Because it's
fried
basted.
duck.
It can't be basted and fried because it's
crispy.
soft. Okay, so it's not
cooking
baked.
show
It's not
now?
confit.
I don't know. I don't. This isn't the Herd podcast.
Mad at you, chef?
Duck is smiling.
All right, so Firebird Tavern tomorrow, guys. You could find Roke over on Facebook,
Yep.
Twitter, Instagram,
And on Lincoln Street,
Oh, yeah.
330
IG.
Lincoln Street,
330 Lincoln Street. There you go.
Royal Oak, Michigan.
Hey, Kyle's over here from Griffin Claw hanging out. We
Yep.
appreciate you coming out. You can find
Eaton Street Brewing.
By special invitation.
you can find Griffin Claw over in Birmingham, as well as plenty of other places.
I'll be there.
Any big events coming out next week that you're doing?
Sure.
Just name one.
Sure.
Okay. Kyle's doing stuff. If you go to Griffin Claw's Facebook page, I'm sure you could find it.
Figure it out.
Definitely appreciate
Yeah.
you guys coming. Great conversations. Plenty of beer to be drank. Probably more conversation to be had offline. Don't forget to check out our sponsors. We got Tuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills. Sure. We've
Jack.
got MI Beer Box. We've got the Ferndale Set, who does our music, as well as we have T-shirts.beer, which is doing the shirt that
You
Matt's
guys are
got
killing
on
it,
right
man.
there.
Why didn't you get me on the show 3 years ago?
We didn't want you.
It's messed up.
Full
Thought I was
conversations.
Underage, yeah, he was 16 at the
He was
time.
9 instead of 12.
I was
It's cold.
Oh
Oh
damn.
my gosh.
Don't forget also North
I'll let
Center
it
Brewing
go.
over in Northville, Michigan. Go check them out. They trick some great magic over there. Go challenge the owner and shuffleboard.
Where?
North Center Brewing over in Northville,
I'm not-
Michigan.
If it weren't like across the world, I would do that.
Yeah, go challenge him in some shuffleboard. Lose to him in shuffleboard.
Never.
No way.
Yeah. I tell you what, you can only do it if you go there and challenge him.
I'm a fantastic shuffleboarder, just so you know.
That's going to do it for us here at Better on Draft. You can find us each and every week, 7 p.m. Eastern, Friday nights. BetterOnDraft.com, as well as Facebook.com/Better on Draft. Shane Hudson from One Eyed Betty's wants to see Kyle's boobs. That's
Same.
That's going to do it for us here. No matter what you think of your beer, we think it's Better on Draft. Have a good night.
What is better on draft, Mr. Trebek?
Shut up. Peace.